One of the things that happens as you start getting busy is that things will start falling through the cracks. You'll forget a few things. So having a to-do list is an effective way for you to be on it, be on guard, and be able to effectively just really work with your client. Hey there, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Now my goal set at the end of this video is to be able to walk you through how to create a to-do list as a virtual assistant. Now if this is your first time on my channel, my name is Lacaba. I've been working from home since I was 15 years old and now run my own virtual assistant company here in the Philippines. And I post videos every Sunday and Thursday on how to work from home and how to have a business from home. So make sure to hit the subscribe button right there so you don't miss any of my videos. Now when it comes to being a virtual assistant or that you're working online at all, your to-do list is going to be a part of your system. It's going to be a really big part of making sure that you're getting things done, making sure that you are going through the right process when you are doing the things day to day, week to week, month to month with your client. Now, a lot of what I'm going to be talking about is going to be coming from the book Getting Things Done, which is one of the books that I recommend to all of our executive assistants as they go through our training, because it's just such a good book of how to make sure that you get things done. First and foremost, what is a to-do list? So to-do list is simply as the name suggests, it's a list of the things that you need to do. It's your, again, it could be things from your day to day, week to week, month to month. It could be one-off tasks or things that your client asks you to do, and you're putting them all into one place where it's easy for you to track and look them over. One of the things that happens as you start getting busy is that things will start falling through the cracks. You'll forget a few things. So having a to-do list is an effective way for you to be on it, be on guard, and be able to effectively just really work with your client. Now, when it comes to your to-do list, it doesn't have to be that you're the only one who has a to-do list. It could be that you are managing to-do lists across teams. You're looking at how everyone is doing, depending on your position as a virtual assistant, if you're managing other people as well. What we're going to be focusing on is your to-do list and how to create it. I have a few bonus tips for you at the very end, like how to create a project management system, how to do time blocking with your to-do list, and how to make sure that things are repeatable over and over again. So what are the different parts of a to-do list? Again, this part of this anatomy is based on executive assistants that we have inside of my company 2XU, and also just experience, like life experience that I've had in the last 10 years of doing this, working online, making sure that I'm tracking everything I'm supposed to be doing. So the first part, and this is coming from, again, the book Getting Things Done, is having a bucket or a capture list. So this is something that people usually fall right off the bat. It's just they don't have one place to capture all of their ideas, tasks, projects, things they want to think about later. For me, by the way, I use a tool called Notion. You guys can check out. I'll put a link in the description box below. But Notion is the place where almost all of our assistants are in, other than if their clients are using a different list or a different software. Notion just makes it easier for us to be able to manage to-do lists, even be able to manage multiple to-do lists if it's different projects. So on Notion, I actually have a page that's just called Capture or Bucket. So I call it Bucket because, I throw things in there. But right on my phone right here, I have it as a shortcut where when I click bucket, it'll open up that page. It makes it really super easy for me to just jot down any ideas. So it's right there, quick notes that I want to go through as I'm going through the day. And the purpose of a bucket is just a way for you to be able to get ideas out of your head. One of the famous lines coming from that book, Getting Things Done, is that your brain is not meant for storing, it's meant for creating. So when you say, oh, I'll just remember that, you probably won't. So it's always better to have a way that you can capture your ideas, your thoughts, your tasks, most especially as you're going through your day. Your capture or your bucket just basically becomes the place where you dump all of the things that you want to remember later on. It doesn't have to be just tasks. It could be reminders. It could be your shopping list. It could be things that you want to make sure that you can organize later. The one mistake I see a lot of people make is they'll have their bucket or their capture place everywhere. They'll have little physical post-it notes. They'll have, a notepad on their computer. They'll have something else on their phone. So it's really better if you can put this all into one place. Of course, there'll be time where you might not be able to access your phone right away. You might have to write it on paper. So also keep in mind to process it later. The next thing that you need to do once you have the things in your capture bucket is actually have the process of how you're going to put them through your whole to-do list. So the process goes like this. If you have your capture, your bucket, your ideas, you want to ask yourself, is this actionable? Is this something that is a task? Is this a to-do? If it is not a to-do, then you want to make sure that you organize it in that way. Is it something that has to be in your later pile, in something you want to think of later? Is it something in your note? Is it a quote that you really like and you just wanted to drop it? And make sure that you organize that note in there and it's not not in your to-do list. So basically, as you're processing right off the bat your capture, your bucket list, you're looking, hey, is this actionable? Not. If it's not, then you organize it into your notes area. If it is, you want to process it in a lot of different ways. First is it an actual bigger project? Is this something that I can't add to my to-do list because it's a bigger thing? Then you want to make that task into like break this project or plan this project. So you're changing it a little bit. And then if it's a task that you can do within 2 minutes, then it's something that you can just do right now. You can instantly add it into your to-do list right away. If it's something for you to delegate or to give to someone else, make sure that you do right away and then you track it. And if it's something for you, make sure that you start putting in the dates and time even that you want to be able to do this task. So that's kind of the simple flow that you can think of when it comes to the first part of your to-do list before we go into the other parts. First thing, capture, and then as you're sorting it, probably at the end of your day or even at the beginning of your day, or it could be that every week that's when you clean out your bucket. That depends on the urgency of the things that you put on there. But again, put in your bucket, your capture, you divide it out. Okay, is this actionable? Is this something that I can do? Are these things that I want to organize into my notes later on? If it's something that you can do, you want to grab it like, hey, can I do this in 2 minutes? Can I just do this now? And if it's something that'll take a while, then if it's a project, make sure they change it into plan this project. If it's something that you want to delegate, you make sure to delegate to blank. And if it's something that is for you, make sure that you add in here the date of when you actually want to do this task. Now that you have that, the next parts of your to-do list is a short list. So is a later pile. Now, what I mean by a later pile is this is basically tasks that might not have a set date yet, or the date is 2 weeks or more from now. So the reason why you want to have this is you don't want to have a whole to-do list of things that you're not going to be urgent anyway. So you want to make sure that you plan for it. That's why you have that list, is these are the later pile. I'll get to this later. And so you don't even have to think about it. It's out of your mental realm. You can even hide it. If you're using Notion, you can go ahead and hide that, and you can open that once a week as you're planning your week. But your later pile is an important thing because that is one of the ways that you can avoid overwhelm. It's one of the ways you can avoid being able to look at your to-do list and like, oh my god, I have so many things to do. Next part of your to-do list should be your shortlisted for the week. This is why your later pile are things that can be done 2 weeks from now. So at the beginning of your week, ideally, whether you're doing this on a Friday or doing this right on Monday, is you want to shortlist, okay, these are things I want to make sure I get done in the week. This will change as you go through the week. There will always be urgent things that will come up throughout the week that people will need you to get done, but you want to at least plan of like, these are things I'm hoping to get done this week. Now, ideally, this is also going to be the place later on that you can add tasks that are added throughout the week that you want to make sure that you also finish this week. You want to have a place where you can record this. You want to make sure that you can document this. So that's why you have the shortlisted for the week of things that might have to happen, on Friday and Thursday, or things that you want to make sure that actually gets done. Next thing is adding a shortlisted for the day. Now, this is going to be the things that you want to make sure that gets done today. Again, things will be added into that. The important thing is that you sort them through those 3 categories that you have now. You have your capture or your bucket. Add in things there that might not have a date yet, the ideas, the notes, and you also now be shortlisted for the week. If it's something that needs to get done within the week, you can just add the task there directly after you process it from your bucket. And then same thing with shortlisted for the day. You can add things. You want to make sure that as you go throughout the day, people might ask you for like, hey, can you do this really quick for me? You add it to your to-do list so you can document and capture it, and then you can move it through the next part of your to-do list, in which that next part of your to-do list is going to be your doing or in process. So throughout the week, there might be things that are pending that are taking more than one day to be able to do it. So your doing is just, these are things that are already in progress. So as you go through your week, your day, these are things that you're probably moving on there as you're working through it. And it's a way for you to just check like, hey, these are the top things that I'm working on right now. Quick and easy way for you to browse what are things that are currently on your plate and be able to move them to the next step. Now, the next 2 steps, which are interesting. First one is a full review or waiting. So anything that's on here, you want to have reviewed by a teammate, by your client, by people that you're working with, or that they're waiting on someone else. So if you delegated a task that is connected to you getting something done. So for example, let's say you're a social media virtual assistant and you needed someone to do this graphic work. You can put things in waiting for this task, and then you can move it forward to done. That's usually the last part of your to-do list, is your done pile. Now, your done pile is just things that are already finished. It's a document way where you can even add what it was that you were able to get done, any bottlenecks that you had. So that's just your done pile. But the actual last thing that you need on your to-do is an archive. So inside of Notion, what we usually do is we'll have an archive for that week. So for example, let's say archive for August 29 to September 2, this is where it goes through. That way your done list doesn't get too long. You're always cleaning it up every week. So your archive is a way for you to keep still the tasks you're able to do that week, be able to track, okay, when was I able to do this? And it's also a way for you to, again, keep that done pile clean. Just like how you want to make sure that your capture is clean, your done pile should also be clean, so then it's out of your head. You're not too stressed out, it doesn't get overwhelming. There's a way for you to process at the end of the week. And that's essentially your to-do list. So again, you start with capture, you also have your later pile, you also have your shortlisted for the week, shortlisted for the day, the tasks that you're doing, the tasks that are waiting or for review, the tasks that are done, and then your hidden one, which is just your archive, where you can drag out the things that you're doing per week. Now, I know this sounds like a really big thing, but most of the time, as you're growing as a virtual assistant, you're having a lot of different tasks and projects. It's essential for you to be able to track them really well. And when you're working with different people, that even becomes more important, that you have a way that you're tracking all the tasks, all the things that need to get done in the business. Now, this part, I'm going to give a little bit of bonus tips for you as you now start working with your to-do list. With the first thing, with syncing basically your to-do list with your calendar. Now, this is depending on the tool that you're using. You can even use Google Tasks that is on Google Calendar, but having a way where you are blocking out the time when you do want to do certain tasks is going to be important for you. This is also a process called time blocking, where you will group or theme tasks together, so it's easy for you to think of them in one go. So for example, let's say you have a set of admin tasks. You want to do them at a certain time in a day. First thing in your day, you're doing admin tasks 7 o'clock to 10 o'clock. So then you're grouping, and you know when you're going to do those tasks, and it's going to be easy for you to know what to do next. One of the things people usually make a mistake of when it comes to their to-do list is they don't know what to do next. They have this huge list, but they don't have an actual time slotted of when they actually want to do it. So when you sync your calendar a little bit with your tasks, it's going to be easier for you to know where you're going to be shifting to next, especially if you have meetings and things throughout the day. You're able to track all of that. Next tip is making sure that you have a way that you're going to be sorting out those tasks. So there is something called the Eisenhower matrix. I've talked about it a lot on this YouTube channel. We're going to group tasks if it's going to be urgent, important, not urgent, and not important. Obviously, tasks that are urgent and important, you're going to do right away. Tasks that are important but not urgent, there's set a date. If it's tasks that are urgent but not important to you, it's probably important to someone else, so to make sure that you delegate it or give it to the right person. And for tasks that are not urgent and not important, and we do have those days, just go ahead and delete it or assess why it wasn't urgent or important for you. It's important to do this process together as you start planning for your week. So you're always looking at your to-do list and making sure that it's clean. Another bonus tip is to start creating a projects list, or start grouping together your tasks as a project. So it could be a project, it could be a theme. Again, you can have like a group of admin tasks, a group of social media tasks, whatever that looks like. But you want to start looking at your tasks in that way. So then you're looking at it from the top view. If it's a project based on client, you can say, hey, this is for this client. If it's a project based on a goal the company that you're working for has, then you can put it under that. One of the ways that I do it inside of my Notion page is I actually have a whole projects folder of all the projects, all the things that I have working all at the same time, and inside of them are actually individual to-do lists. So then it's easy for me to grab what are the to-do lists for each project as I'm working on it, as I can see it right away. Again, this is a more complex thing. If you guys want me to do a bigger video on this, let me know in the comments below. But that's basically one way that you can keep managing your to-do list as well, just adding projects, or a way to theme or add or group together your tasks into ways that you can just think about it really easily. And lastly, one of the biggest tips, and this is something that I love teaching over and over again, is you make sure that you document the tasks that you're doing. So this could be as easy as creating a checklist of how you want to do this over and over again, or as complicated or complex as actually creating a standard operating procedure, which I do have a whole video on, where you can easily train someone else to do what you're doing. Or again, it acts as a checklist or a standard for you to follow as you're doing this task. So you're making sure that you're not the only one who knows this task, because then it's going to be easier to free yourself up from this work. Now, if you guys like this video and if it helped, make sure to hit the thumbs up button right there and comment below. Do you have a to-do list? What does it look like? I would love to know. And if you still haven't yet, make sure to hit the subscribe button right there so you don't miss any of my videos every Sunday and Thursday on how to work from home and how to have a business from home, which you guys can check out those two playlists right here and the latest video right here. I hope you guys have an awesome day, and remember that small steps matters, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!